have on a black t-shirt.
Hey, man.
I have on a black t-shirt. Doug, my shirt is the same color as Lau's.
Hey, you look blue.
You look deep.
He does look like those people off the Proud Family. That shit is funny. Like.
That shit looks wild.
He's so
man.
Dog, that shit looks wild.
Yo, what's going on? This is Relaxing _Jackson, and I'm here with my amigos and compadres. We are here. This is the Highly Advised Podcast, the best hip-hop and MMA podcast that you will find on the internet. We are here. It is a late night, but we are still here for the show, and we want to update the people with all the good news. How are you guys doing?
Let's go. Episode 50 what? 54? Is it 54, guys?
54.
54.
Jeez,
54.
Man.
Yes, sir. Hey,
Straight
man.
is.
Shouts out to everybody listening to episode 54. It's your boy, Big Cozy, Too Cozy, a.k.a. Lau, a.k.a. Lau Shay, a.k.a. I Don't Play, Mr. Don't Play That. Shouts out to Project Pat. You know I'm rhyming. So let's go to all the listeners today. Shouts out to all the listeners. What's up to my amigos? You know, my co-hosts. I'm their co-host as well. You know, the trio, the real NWO. What's up, guys?
Not much, man. I can't call it. Doing pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I can't call it for real. Episode 54. Another episode giving you we're not even the best podcast on the internet for MMA and hip hop. We're the best podcast in the universe.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Listen,
you informed
man.
me just now.
Listen,
I learned something.
listen. Why you think I'm this? Why you think I look blue right now? I'm not even on Earth right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I learned something. See, I get it. I get it now. I get it.
Yo.
Yeah, see,
I'm telling you, man, you the face of the $100 bill right now.
Blueface, baby. You know what I'm saying?
when they talk about hundreds, they talk about you.
Yeah, because I keep it 100 all the time. I can't do nothing less at the end of the day.
So how are you actually doing though?
You know what I'm saying? I'm doing pretty good. I can't call it, man. Did a lot of traveling over recently, so I'm kind of like on the road right now. But like I said, I'm not even on Earth. So under those type of circumstances, you get me how you get me. But you know, I'm always here for the podcast. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
You know, I'm doing all right. I'm walking around pretty good, you know, like things are getting, you know, better. Still doing the physical therapy thing, but I mean, overall, I can't, you know, complain. I happen to get my hands on a PS5, and that has been, you know, very nice. I've been enjoying it a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Jeez, who'd you have to rob for that?
I can't tell you about that, man.
Come on, man. You know better. You know who we are, Spence.
We're recording right now.
Listen,
we don't need to rob. They give it. They just give it up. It's easy.
It's like, yo, it's like, how you think Nigel really broke his foot, man? He was putting hands and feet on people, and now he got hands and feet, man. That's the name of it.
You know how I am.
Listen, hands and feet got your PS5, man.
Everybody who knows me personally knows I'm like that. Clearly.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Disclaimer. Disclaimer.
Oh God. Nah.
Oh man.
So
he's a good paying patron, man.
So I was you know, scrolling the, you know, Instagram and whatever, and I had seen something about Kendrick and dropping, and supposedly TDE has they're loading and they're like 97% complete, and I've been hearing all types of rumors and whatnot. Yeah. Spence, I know you're informed, so go ahead and tell me what's going on.
Yeah, so right now, I think just not too long, a couple days ago, TDE dropped they dropped a sign that was with TDE with a counter with a ticker nonetheless. Pretty much saying the wait is over. And pretty much loading and saying I believe it's this Friday or next Friday, tomorrow or next Friday. They have a special announcement coming out. There is a rumor that I have heard that it's Kendrick Lamar. In the month of May, we may get Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole dropping. Granted, I say all that to say, but I want to stick to Kendrick Lamar right now. Kendrick Lamar, I'm just saying it's just one of those things. Like, listen, when you're not listen, when you travel in the universe, you hear a lot of things. It's a lot of whispers in the space. I end up hearing that Kendrick may be dropping an album. This news is actually off the heels of him actually going certified gold on every track for Damn. So, and I'm not sure if you checked the Twitter streets, but there's been a huge request for Kendrick to drop an album. It's been 3 years since Damn has dropped. We are hoping Kendrick Lamar is coming. I won't be mad if it's Isaiah Rashad or any other people. Yeah, I won't be mad if it's anybody from TDE. Let's clear it. Right.
That's what I feel. I want anybody from TDE to put something out.
Exactly.
Like I'm looking forward to it for real.
Exactly. So it's just a waiting game at this point. But I do believe Kendrick Lamar is going to be dropping an album. He's highly
aware. Face.
Yeah.
He's about to go to sleep.
Yeah.
He's like, please let this be over.
Man, he's excited. He's excited to talk about the Khaled album. He loved it so
much. Okay.
But yeah, that's really just the news about it. How do you guys feel about hearing about this? That there's a possibility we will get a Kendrick Lamar album after waiting 3 years.
Go ahead, La.
Man, the rap game needs it. The rap game is dying right now without its three-headed monster referencing Kendrick, Cole, and Drake. And I know Drake, he's been dropping onesie twosies here and there, including the EP, but we need full bodies of work. So if Kendrick is dropping this month, thank the Lord. We need something. It's been some time. We have some breathing room from Damn because Damn was super successful, et cetera, et cetera. So if we get a Kendrick album, I'm all ears. And like you said, real rap fans should be all ears too. Whether Kendrick is your favorite or not, it's like a fresh of breath air when he's dropping an album, So I'm for it. I have nothing against it. What I will say though is I just think the dude is going to do like 200,000 the first week. I said that in the past, and I think that's where it stands still. 200,000. But that's good.
So listeners,
that's good.
That's wild.
So
that's good. That's good. Is that bad?
Hold on, wait. So let me inform the listeners or something.
Is that bad though?
What you guys don't know is that before we started actually putting these like videos online, one of our first episodes were about Kendrick versus Lil Wayne. And Lyle's statement was that if Kendrick and Lil Wayne came out on the same day, Lil Wayne would outsell Kendrick.
No.
This is... All right, I'm sorry. Correct me. Go ahead. It was wrong either way, but go ahead.
Every time you say you always twist the turn words and you chase the narrative. What I was saying from back then was if Wade and Kendrick came out on the same day, Kendrick would outsell Wade. There's no debate on that. Kendrick would do about 200,000. The initial argument, which we're not even going to get into because for time reasons.
Oh my God.
I said Wade
right?
Wade was more musically relevant than Kendrick at the time.
Listeners,
that's what I said.
There you have it. Either way, if you agree, leave something in the comments, please, because I gotta hear it. You know what I mean?
That's my take. I think Kendrick is going to outsell him easily. But if we're just talking about right now, why would the guy who's putting out more music than the guy that's not more relevant? We're talking about Lil Wayne, right? Most people consider him the GOAT. We're not talking about Tim Buck fucking 2 rapper from SoundCloud. We're talking about one of the most prominent rappers of the rap game.
What you mean is consistency. He's more consistent than Lil Wayne, but more relevant. I disagree with that.
Yeah.
So you're telling me at the current moment of time, Lil Wayne is not more musically relevant than Kendrick?
No, he's not. Kendrick Lamar hasn't put out an album in 3 years, and every song off the album Damn, which is like 16 tracks, all are certified gold. That's 500,000 copies of each song. That over a 3-year span. Listen, bro.
I'm just saying, Playboi Carti went platinum. His first album went platinum over a 3-year span. What is he saying now?
what is Playboi? Oh, so that's right. You were a big fan of Playboi Carti last album. So
no, I wasn't. I wasn't a big fan of it. I just said it grew on me.
Hey, listen, man, we'll have to put that conversation out and let the fans like decide. I don't agree. I'll probably never agree to that, especially right now. Outside of just that Lil Wayne thing, I do disagree that he's going to sell 200,000. If he sold 200,000, that would be a flop for Kendrick Lamar. To be honest,
it would be a serious flop for Kendrick.
It would be.
That's Fanboy.
No, it's not.
How?
No,
He sold. Hold on. No. Hold on.
Go ahead.
How is that Fanboy? He sold 600,000 copies his first week with Damn. So if he was to sell 200,000 copies in his following the album that follows Damn, he sells 300. If he sells 200,000 copies after selling 600,000 copies his first week, that is a flop. Flop. That's a huge dissension.
All right. So if by that logic, that means, Drake flopped with Scorpion when you're comparing it to Views, right? Because Views went platinum week 1. Scorpion didn't go platinum week 1. So is that a flop?
It's a decent decision. Yes.
Come on, that's not a flop. That's not a flop. That's flawed logic. That's flawed logic.
How is it flawed logic? It's flawed logic. So you're telling me he sells a third of what he's
exactly.
You're telling me if he sells a third, I don't care what it is. You can use 100 million. If you made 100 million, if you made $1,000, right? And then next week, the following month, you make $333. You can't say, oh, well, you can say, yeah, I'm still making money, but you took a hit. You took
a serious hit.
You lost a third of 2/3 of
you're making.
He's at least going to do 3 to 4.
No,
he's at least going to do 3 to 4 a week.
You're making.
If he did 200, that would be a flop.
You're making the term flop very like loose and vague. You know what I mean? All right, let's be like. Let's talk about it. We're gonna get into it. Let's talk about it. Because I'll tell you right now, if you sell 1 million records on your prior album, and in this record you sell 700,000, how's that how's that flop when you're still considered the top 1% in your genre? That's crazy. And nobody could ever dream of selling what Drake sells in the first week. You know what I mean? Kendrick may come close. I don't think so with this next album, but Kendrick may come close. But what I'm trying to say is like because Kendrick sells 200,000, that's a damn good pat on your back. Like, bro, you outsold everybody of the year so far. But
he's trying to cover up.
No. But since if he's not selling 600, 700,000, you guys are becoming fair weather fans, and you're going to call him the flop of the century. No. I don't get that. That's 200,000 is good.
That's great for Kendrick. Is it good?
No, you know what I mean? That's phenomenal.
That's horrible.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
That's horrible.
Phenomenal,
bro. If you're
Kendrick,
if you want to compare, if you're comparing Kendrick Lamar to Kendrick Lamar's success, that is bad. If you're comparing Kendrick Lamar's success to Kendrick Lamar's success, right? Okay. He sells 643,000 copies with Damn first week. Okay. You're saying he sells 200,000 copies with this next album first week.
Yeah.
That's a third of what he sold in his last album. That is bad for him. Anybody in the office would say, yo, he's taking a hit. The fans don't like his music as much anymore, because that's a clear indication. Now, if you want to compare it to the landscape of music, yes, that is a huge success nonetheless. I'll give you that. But,
exactly. You're thinking too much of the 200,000. That's damn good. Who's
Kendrick Lamar competing against? Is he competing against the Lil Babies of the world? No. Is he competing against anybody in the world? No. I'm just saying, Lil
Baby at this point could do 500,000 first week.
So you're telling me you don't think Kendrick can?
So you believe? No, I'm not. So do you think Kendrick? So do you think Lil Baby can outsell Kendrick Lamar?
No, no. If they went head to head, no. I don't think so.
No, I'm saying
I don't think so.
In the same calendar year, if they both put out albums, you believe that Lil Baby will outsell Kendrick Lamar first week?
No, I just said no.
But you just said you think Lil Baby can sell 500,000.
Yes.
And you think Kendrick Lamar will sell 200,000?
Here's my explanation why though. Lil Baby has been killing it consistent. He's when we're talking about top 5 hottest rappers, we're not talking about best, hottest, meaning popularity.
Right.
Lil Baby's in there easily, right? He's been killing it. His last album went like double platinum. People are going nuts for Lil Baby. So if Lil Baby were to drop an album, Lil Baby is going to sell well. That's how I see it. I'm not saying Kendrick is a flop artist. Obviously not. For you to be dead quiet for 3 years, besides some obscure Future, you have to go, go torrent the song for you to find it and shit like that.
it's that deep on the internet. Like, they won't be floating around Twitter. Like, you got to go to Pirate Bay and shit. All right,
yeah, take it old school, man.
But what I'm saying is, like, he's been quiet, he's been enjoying his life, et cetera, et cetera. And if for him to randomly pop out and drop an album, I do 500, 600,000. I don't see that happening, man. Like I see a good solid 200 in the $200,000 range. I mean, 200,000 range. That's where I see Kendrick at. His next album could very well go platinum, but in that first week, man, it's just a tall task. Just like you thought Drake could go diamond in the first week with Certified Lover Boy.
Listen, a tall task is Drake trying to go diamond in the first week. I'll give you that. Yep. I have no problem with that. I understand that. I understand that argument. But at the end of to me, I see it like this. Someone that drops an album, after he did Damn, the album that came out before that was 2 years prior, right? Okay. That sold like 300,000. So he takes a 2-year gap in between, goes from 300,000 to 600,000.
Okay.
Now he takes a 3-year gap after pretty much the numbers are showing this album, Damn, is certified gold every track. First album to ever do that in history.
I thought Cardi B shit was every track was platinum except for 2, and those
okay. Okay.
No, you said it's first in history. I mean, Cardi B, every track on her album went gold or platinum.
Look, Kendrick's gonna do 300 to 400. Don't be surprised if he does 5. Maybe on the way to 6.
Okay.
Yo, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
You're back. It's all good.
Yeah.
We ain't miss a beat.
Yeah.
And if you've been paying attention, Khaled came out, and Lau hated it.
Yeah, the album it's sorry. The best song on there is Sorry Not Sorry. So, and I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for
I didn't hate it.
Album. This album sucks.
I didn't hate it.
The general consensus online.
We disagree this time.
No, I'm not talking about me and you. I'm talking about like people on social media. Nobody is really a big fan of the album. I mean, they like their singles here and there, but like as a whole body of work, it's not great.
It has a poppy sound to it, that I can see that's unappealing to a lot of people. But I mean, like, it's not terrible. I didn't listen to it and I was just like, like I've heard worse projects this year. And like, it wasn't like, it's not going to be one of my favorites. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't think it was. If that's the general feeling about it, I don't feel that way. I just felt it was something that I listened to and I can just kind of move past it. That's really it.
It was a decent album. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I've never been a huge Khaled fan. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I personally, if I had to rate that the Jay-Z Nas song, I would give it like a 3 out of 5. It wasn't really that great of a song personally. And I'm a huge Jay-Z fan. I really didn't think that was like a really good song by Jay-Z and Nas personally. So I think there were better songs on the album than the Jay-Z and Nas song personally. So it was cool. It's a Khaled out. I mean, you have to also keep in mind Khaled's music is not the type of music that like it's more of a pop type of music at the end. It's more of a mainstream music. So you're going to get more of the mainstream roundedness of sound. So it is what it is, but I mean, I'm more anticipating like other albums that should be coming out this year. I don't know if you guys heard, but I saw in my mentions that Chris and Tory might actually be dropping an album too, which I mean, they caught a lot of flack for it. But yeah, I mean, I'll put it like this. With both of them being as talented as they are, I think that could be a really good album.
I mean, I think music-wise, there's no reason not to look forward to this album. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to sound good. You're going to get at least a few good-sounding tracks, Now, I mean, if you want to, have your opinions about them outside of music, whatever, I guess that's your business. But, like, musically, it should be really good, actually. So, I mean, why not?
Yeah, I did see some. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say some of the things I saw on Twitter. In terms of the subject matter people thought the album would be about. But yeah, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day.
Yeah.
Did you guys get a chance to check out Meek Mill's Lemon Pepper freestyle?
So yeah, I listened to it before we started recording tonight, and I didn't think it was bad. I listened to it and I thought it was okay. I mean, he did like a type of style I haven't heard in like a very long time. You know what I mean? But like it was interesting to hear it. I wasn't expecting that, and I'm sure a hell of a lot of people weren't expecting that. Did I hate it? No, but I also watched it with the lyrics. If I didn't, then I probably wouldn't understand it right off the bat. But I mean, like, it is what it is.
Shouts out to Meek.
Yeah, shout outs to Meek. I listened to it. I liked it. Always been a Meek fan, so I mean, there's not much more to be said about that. The thing I'm more interested in now is just seeing what's going to happen with the next album, because anytime Meek starts popping back up with music, it typically is a sign that music is to come. An album is to come. I think he is putting out a Dream Chasers album, which I'm kind of excited for, because you guys remember when we were talking about like our albums of the year last year, and one of the mentions I brought up was the artist named Kurt out of Philly. Well, he's actually signed to Meek Mill now. He got signed. Yeah, he got signed to Meek Mill, I think, like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, so he's DC now. So I have some anticipation for a DC album and a Meek Mill album, because I'll be honest with you, I think when I go back to that Mount Rushmore conversation, it's hard. I could see someone putting a debate. I could see someone putting in debate, but it's hard. It's hard to put him in there.
Yeah. It's not. If it's not Big Sean, it's not Meek. I can say that for sure.
I feel like I would put Meek over Big Sean though.
You're crazy. Yeah, we're about to have another debate.
Listen. It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. That's all I can say.
Shouts out to Meek and Big Sean, but I'm sorry. That's just
what I will say. My little take on this is, I thought the freestyle was pretty dope. I was a big fan of Meek's championship album. It was championships or whatever.
Yeah, championships.
Yeah. I thought that album was hard as shit. I'm glad it got like nominated or whatever the fuck for a Grammy. I thought that was a damn good rap album. Hopefully Meek could come with something hard like that. You know what I mean? So shouts out to Meek once again. So I fuck with the freestyle.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think we just gotta wait to see what ends up coming from Meek. I mean, when it's all said and done, I think Meek's track record, he doesn't disappoint for the most part. So I ran across a very interesting clip this recently, and it was with Blueface. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but we could get a documentary of Blueface one day called "Surviving Blueface," similar to the R. Kelly. He was walking around. It was like a 2-minute video, and apparently he has a bunch of bunk beds in his like crib, and it's just nothing but a bunch of girls he has that live there, and they sleep on bunk beds. And he was walking through, and he was like, "Yo, which one of y'all are getting my name tattooed on you today?" So like, and he pretty much was telling girls like, if you don't get my name tattooed on you today, you got to get out. So yeah,
are they there willingly, Mel?
Hey,
you know what I mean? Like,
that's crazy.
Let's be fucking real. I don't fault Blueface for none of that shit. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's people slamming him for that shit. I don't fault. These are grown ass women. They took it upon themselves to be a part of, whatever shelter Blueface is providing for them. They had the conscience to be like, I'm going to sleep in these bunk beds. With Blueface, I'm going to tat his face. He's not forcing them against their will. Hey, if you don't like, he's not running a shelter. He's
not strong armed.
I just want to know, like,
he kind of strong armed them though. If you kind of tell someone, yo, listen,
are they there willingly? That's what I want to know. If he's not, then they need to get out. If they're just chilling,
that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Boom. There you go. Like, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. If you have some dignity for yourself, you're not going to fucking do that. So apparently, if you're okay with doing that, and apparently it doesn't hurt that much to sleep in a bunk bed and be sheltered, and you're showing up to the soup like kitchen he probably has feeding the girl,
Yo, they said
feeding
the same thing about R. Kelly too, man.
feeding the women, piss poor food or whatever.
Sounds like a dungeon, Jesus.
I mean, it
Sounds
might
like
as well
R. Kelly,
be,
man.
It might as well be. I don't fault him for that. As long as he's not assaulting the women, sexually assaulting the women, doing anything. Yeah, hurting them, doing it, trying to pimp them out against their own will, doing egregious shit. As long as he's not doing nothing like that, it's their fault. They don't have to stay there. They don't.
I'm gonna just be on the record. I'm not backing your opinion.
They don't have to stay there, man. I just look like if he's forcing them against their will, that's egregious, like I just mentioned. But if it's like, hey, I want to be part of Blueface's, I don't know if he's shooting a TV show or something like that. Why is that his fault? Why is that his fault?
Listen, man. I'll put it like this, right?
Does he has to put them all in a penthouse? Does he have to do that? And you'll be okay with that? You'll be happy with it if he did that?
You said what?
If he put them all in their own hotel rooms.
Yeah, no, if they all got put up in a penthouse and they had rental cars out there for their duration of time.
Either way, it would still be. I think the film would still be the same. To be honest with you, like. I'll put it. All I'm gonna say is this, right? Anytime you tell someone, "Yo, if you're not getting my name tattooed on you, you got to get out." It is a strong arm tactic. At the end of the day, that's how I agree. That's the way I look at it, and I see it that way because there's. I'll put it like this: when we look at the R. Kelly situation, right? Even that situation, like, granted, we don't know the details if he's knocking these chicks off or whatever he's doing with these girls. Cool, but from the optics of it. It looks very similar because even when they were grown, these grown women were still doing this thing with R. Kelly, right? You saw certain things and you heard certain things.
Yeah. If they're in danger, of course, we want them to get the help that they need.
Exactly.
If they are not, let's move on. You know what I mean?
It's a blurry line.
There's better things to talk about, like Young Thug getting people out of jail with Gunna. Shouts out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them.
They went and they got 30 inmates out of jail for minor offenses, and they did some things, like for some cool things for some people. They had it on the news. Shouts out to them. I thought that was a really dope thing for them to do. I think more artists should do things like that if they can, of course.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was really dope. That should be like a highlight. You know how Breakfast Club has Donkey of the Day? There should be like some type of award, for doing cool things. You could say that's a real thing to do too. That's kind of like, in a sense, kind of like give it back to your community, trying to help your community move forward. So I shouts out to Young Thug and Gunna, man.
Just think, like 30 people got to see their families a little sooner. You know what I mean? Like that's really dope. That's a really dope thing.
Yeah, and with that being said, that is our highlight person of the week.
I like that. That's nice. Yeah. Highlight person of the week.
Yeah.
Moving forward, listeners, that's what we're doing. Highlight person of the week. And guess what? It's none of you guys listening.
Oh my God.
I'm quite sure people question why do they listen to us every week.
Talking trash to the listener.
It's like
we love you guys.
Yeah, of course we
love you guys.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I didn't have a chance to watch the whole thing yet, but did you guys get a chance to watch Without Remorse?
Yeah, man. I was actually watching it before we recorded today. I'm not gonna lie, I actually enjoyed the movie, and I wouldn't mind if they did more in that direction, with Michael B. Jordan and whatnot. I think it was cool. Like, you know what I mean? I think you definitely should watch it if you have the chance. If you have Amazon Prime, you should watch that, and then go and watch Conflicted, and then you'll have a good little movie weekend.
Or watch Conflicted first, then watch Michael B. Jordan. Listen, man. Listen, the way Conflicted ends is a nice way to build up into Without Remorse. That's all I can say.
Listeners, two totally different type of movies. But Without Remorse, though, I give it 2 thumbs up. I thought it was a dope action movie. It had thriller vibes. I'm kind of big on like thriller, crime type of shit, because I think it's kind of like real. It could be realistic to the real world, so I get entertained by that. It's kind of cool. I'm not going to go into details, so listeners could have a chance for spoilers, whatever. But what I will say is there's a little bit of controversy with this movie. So if you never read the Tom Clancy, the original book or whatever, or books, you may fall in love with this movie. You may think this movie is amazing. But if you did read the books, apparently it doesn't follow the book at all, like nothing at all. And there's people who are apparently quote unquote fans of the book that don't like the movie because it does not follow the book at all. They say it's a bad adaptation of the movie. So I don't know. I haven't read the book, nor I'm going to go read the fucking book because I don't care to. So
You don't read.
no, come on. But I just think like the movie, as just from an entertainment standpoint, without no knowledge of the original book, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was very entertaining. So I just think, and it's kind of like me and Nigel, how we was thinking about the Mortal Kombat thing, and maybe we could go tit for tat for that. But I just thought this movie was solid. It was really good for me.
Yeah, I would watch it again actually.
Yeah, like I'll probably I was actually watching it. I had like a little bit of time before we recorded, so I started watching some of it. So I can't really pose an opinion yet in terms of like my thoughts on the whole movie, but I will say this in response to the people that are critics about it. History has always shown us that there is rare occasions that the movie is a pure adaptation of the book, right? I don't care. You can name any classic movie, The Color Purple, for instance, which is based off a book, is not a pure adaptation of the book.
Yeah, but go ahead, my bad.
Like, well, I say that to say like now, granted, I understand like you have other things like when you look at like comic books or other things like that, or like something that's not as like thick in terms of like a reading substance of like just a novel, right? Like when you look at just a novel, it's impossible to take a 300-page book, right, and somehow find a way of making it an hour and a half movie and having every finite detail while following the storyline. And let's be honest, a lot of times in books, a lot of great books, the things that make them so great is the imagery that they give you, and that's something that you read because you feel you're there, right? In a movie, you don't have time to set like that type of ambiance like throughout the whole movie in certain cases. So that's my only opinion when it comes to the critics. Like, listen, anybody that's ever read a book typically has never been a fan of a movie that's been made. Like history, that's always been throughout history.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with you, and I'm not trying to say you're totally wrong, but I think that it's kind of depends on who's handling the movie. Because I'm not a fan of the Harry Potter series. I will never go watch a Harry Potter movie. I just don't give a fuck. I don't.
Jeez.
I don't.
Lau got all the smoke tonight.
But that's not like Harry Potter.
What I will say though is Harry Potter is loved and adored. A lot of people love the franchise, and I don't hear people complain at all saying, "Hey, this is a shitty adaptation of the books." Because if you have some movie trivia knowledge, like, hey, those literally came from the books. So I think it just depends on who is handling the movie. So I can't say the Tom Clancy shit is wrong because I never read the book. But according to people on Twitter, Instagram, blah, 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 they say, hey, this is completely not the book. Fuck this movie, da, da, da. I mean, there's some other reasons why they're saying it. I think you guys know why too. But but outside of that, I just really think that is depending why it's fucking it's depending whoever's handling the movie.
I think that does play a factor in terms of who handles the movie and how much the author is part of the movie, of the making of the movie. But there's less likelihood that you'll see a pure adaptation of a book into a movie, right? So like I think, and when you do see a good representation of it, they're typically movies that last 3 hours practically, or 2.5 hours. So in those types of cases, you find those good movies, you can find those good adaptations, but it's very hard to, and it's hard to create something like that fits the attention span of the viewer. So, and I mean, like you said, like I I think there's always other factors that make people not like a movie. So, and I mean, that's just the case that it is. Like a lot of times people are diehards for fictional characters.
I mean,
So,
I think it really all depends. You know what I mean? Kind of like Lau said, like it really all depends because, like, you know, in some cases you'll see a movie that's like some people will say is too loyal to the source material. You know what I mean? So like it really all depends on how you like add and subtract things to make your version of the story work. You know?
right.
So I guess it kind of is what it is.
I got a question real quick though. So from what I watched of the movie so far, it allowed me to go in the memory lane with Michael B. Jordan and all the movies he's been in, right? From Fruitvale Station all the way up to now, even to The Wire, right? And I think we all know he's on the trajectory that he has is like in a positive. So like just from seeing this movie, what direction do you think this may end up taking him in terms of
number one?
He's going up.
He's going to, man. I think he's going to be one of the number ones. And I just think that the guy is very versatile. Like he's versatile. You know what I mean? Like granted, we just seen him in Black Panther a couple years ago, but if just like you mentioned, the guy can do multiple roles. Because before this, remember the movie he just did with Jamie Foxx when he was playing like a lawyer trying to help Jamie Foxx beat the case?
Oh, I didn't watch that one. I remember hearing about that though.
A lot of people praised it. So it's just kind of like Michael B. Jordan. He got it. Like he may be the guy. You know what I'm saying? So I think this movie is just another pat on the back on his resume of acting.
Yeah, no, his trajectory is going up for sure. It's a good movie. Like you should watch it. You know what I mean? Like if you like good movies and whatnot, like it's, you know, a little espionage thriller type situation. You know, it's not so bad.
From what I've seen so far and understanding his history, it gives me the vibe that he's definitely in the ilk of like Jamie Foxx and Will Smith. I'm not going to say Denzel Washington because there's always an argument with Denzel Washington. But in terms of versatility, I can see him being in that elk. So
yeah, man. Shouts out to Michael B, aka, you know, one of the faces of the young generation actors. So
yeah, he might. Who knows? He might skip the next Oscars and be like, "Yo, give me a gaming awards." Because technically speaking, when I watched part of the movie, it reminded me of like Splinter Cell.
Okay.
Yeah, it was well, I mean, Tom Clancy, right? So I mean, like that, I guess that would make sense, right? It's weird because like apparently for the last Oscars they got actually lower ratings than the last Game Awards. So, well, Lau, why don't you explain for the listeners?
A guy who does report for these award shows, and you can find him on Twitter if you just Google it, like award show numbers and all that. His name will pop up or whatever. But he was comparing the viewership between the last Game Awards, which is the biggest award show for video game developers, programmers, et cetera, and compared it to the last Oscars that just happened, a couple weeks ago. And the Video Game Awards that just happened had over 80 million viewers, while the Oscars did 9.8. So I think that's very interesting because now we all know video gaming and gaming in general is a big thing, whether people like to acknowledge it or knock it. You know what I mean? You have people who's making millions of dollars just sitting in front of their monitor and console 8 hours a day and making more money than people who hate on the shit. So but what I found was like, wow, 80 million compared to 9.8. That's crazy. And I'm wondering, hey, is more people starting to gear towards video games and like on a mainstream level? Because I like movies just like how you guys like movies, but like, damn, like the Oscars supposed to be prestigious. It's supposed to be like fine art, right? It's supposed to be like Met Gala type shit, but it's getting blown out by where some people might consider niche, even though it's not. So I'm like, I just thought that was an interesting thing.
I think it's kind of interesting because, you know, all entertainment is fighting for our time, right? So like whether you're watching TV, movies, music, comic books, whatever, the case of your source of media is, like, it's everything is battling for our time. And I think some people find movies like to be kind of a waste of time because you actually have to sit somewhere for like a few hours and like be dedicated to that one thing, So I think maybe it has something to do with that. Maybe it's nowhere near that deep. Maybe people just don't like the Oscars because, all award shows are kind of, in my opinion, taking a hit because of, the distrust in them. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is, it's just, throwing a few things out there.
To me personally, I think that what probably plays a factor, the distrust. Far too often, I think not even just the Oscars to single them out, but just award shows in general. I think this general consensus by most people is that these award shows more often than not, like you never get the person you always feel should win doesn't win the award. Who has the best movie, who puts out the best album, typically that person doesn't get the award for whatever reasons. And I mean, granted, we also know like there's always politics when it comes to award shows. So maybe we may just be in the infancy stage of the gaming awards in terms of like where politics will become a bigger factor over time. So, and plus on top of it, like you said, Lau, I think gaming is at an all-time high right now. You have places that just set up redefining what an arcade is, right? By just creating gaming places just for people to play their games again, right? So it's a new definition of what we once knew as arcades to some extent. So
yeah.
I do think that plays a factor. Heck, I was in, I'm not going to say the store, but I was in an electronic store the other day looking at like PCs and laptops, and I saw a dude, it was like a gaming laptop that was probably like going for like $2,300. Like this guy stood there for like, and you could tell he wasn't even like super old. Like he was probably like maybe in his early 20s. And he stood there, you could tell he was standing there like with this glee on his face, like, yo, once I get this, I can go do X, Y, and Z, because the gaming community is so big. So, and then on top of it, you got to think about it. Because of cell phones on top of it, it makes gaming even more apparent. From Fortnite, where it once started off as just an app, to now people are playing it like through different avenues. So, I mean, it's just a sign that the gaming awards is getting bigger. And I mean, I guess like you would say, the changing of the guard, essentially.
So recently, there's been a situation with Diego Sanchez and his trainer. They've had a situation where Diego Sanchez has asked for his medical records, and the UFC apparently reached back out to him. They said, "Hey, we don't handle that paperwork." They said, "If you're feeling, why are you asking for this paperwork?" They said they just wanted, to look at the long-term effects, blah, 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 make sure, everything's okay. They say, hey, if you're not feeling 100%, then we're, going to pull you from this fight right now. And they were like, okay, well, let's just get the paperwork. They're like, okay, but like, are you feeling okay to fight? Apparently, they let them know that they were okay to fight. And then they released Diego Sanchez.
What?
So Diego's no longer with the UFC, and that's due to his so-called coach named Josh Fabia, whatever. So basically, I just had to read something on it real quick just to refresh my memory on the situation. So it seemed like Josh Fabia was going to do a scam job because he's already he's a scam artist himself, and you don't have to watch MMA to know, like, hey, that guy just doesn't know anything about what he's involved in. The guy
uppercut.
Yeah, him and the girl from the Mortal Kombat movie, they have the equivalent experience, right? And she's a scripted character. So
Rashad Evans came out and called him a parasite. He's like, leave that parasite alone. And Diego Sanchez came back out and said, oh, this is for the haters. And it was just people supporting his coach.
It sounds like from the gist of everything, like, hey, we know Diego's going to get beat up by Donald. So let's scam our way to get some money, right? Because apparently Diego was going to, I think it was one or two of his last fights on his contract anyway. So hey, let's get these medical records. Let's get it. If the UFC gives us these medical records, Diego gets beat up, like, because I can't train the guy. I'm not a real trainer. I'm just scamming my way. I'm just attaching my name to him. After Diego loses the fight, I'm going to be like, hey, UFC, you knew Diego had all these medical problems, but you still made him fight one of the toughest fighters in the world. I'm going to sue you because you put my fighter in danger. And that was the cash grab that, his so-called coach was going to go for. Well, the UFC, there's a reason why they're $1 billion corporation. They just went public. They're not idiots. They're in business, so they know how business goes. The lawyer, I guess the top lawyer, was like, no, this is why for all the years Diego's been fighting for us, not once he's requested for medical records. But now, all of a sudden, when he's paired up with you, he's asking for these medical records. So, is Diego okay? Can he fight? Is he healthy enough to fight? Can you assure us that? Because you just randomly asking for these medical records, especially when it's a week before you guys have to fight.
That sounds sketchy as ever.
It's a red flag. It's very alarming. And I feel bad for Diego. I don't feel bad for him because, he's a grown man, but I feel bad for him because for a legend of the sport, especially, he's an icon of the UFC in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
He gets cut because he has this jobber of a guy who's probably been studying a little bit of corruption from the great sport of boxing, that he's been able to fucking ruin Diego, and it's so I don't get it. Like, I don't know why Diego has fell such in love with this guy. Like, this guy, there's no accolades when he's talking about what the stuff he's doing. Yo, it's crazy. Every interview I hear of this guy, he's not talking about MMA. He's just talking about, why do people hate on him? Well, people hate on you because you're not a fucking coach. You're better off just saying, hey, I'm a partner, I'm a friend. This is somebody he's my homeboy. You're better off even saying I'm Diego's agent. Because at the end of the day, that's what it sounds like. Right. You're a scamming ass agent. So, like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the guy. I think he's very dangerous, especially since you've seen that bizarre video of him like trying to teach people how to knife fight or something. Like, he's just
hold on, that's who that was.
Yes, he's gonna need that octagon.
Yeah, he's a bizarre individual. Not giving Diego any coaching advice. He's the only coach in the corner. Like, he's just
he was
a random dude. He wrestled at the gym, and then they just became friends. You know what I mean? And so-called trainers, you know what I mean?
Yo, listen, man, more than likely he probably trained the dude that you be sending us on IG, man. The kung fu guy.
Oh, the Mick Dojo.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, for real, he might be one of those dudes, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he might he's probably trying to teach Diego the way.
It really bugs him that people talk about him online. Like, he hates it.
Oh, well.
Listen, man, some people hate the truth. That's the thing. Most people don't like being called out for who they are. Like,
the guy's a sham.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, but at the same time, I can't even fault the guy. I'm not even mad at the guy. I'm mad at the only person I could fault is Diego Sanchez. Because it's like, yo, you've been fighting this long and you got duped this way. You literally got yourself out of like the rest of your contract through having a trainer that's like a shaky guy. Hey, man, you can't blame anybody but himself. Like, at least John's got new management. That's all I can say.
Oh, yeah, John did get new management. And shouts out to John. I hope he gets a deal, because if the UFC doesn't make that fight, they're fucking idiots.
Who's the new management?
I don't know who his new management is. I just know he left his old management.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That doesn't mean he got new management. He might be going to business for himself then.
Maybe.
No, it's been announced that he has new management.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Shouts out to the new management too.
Yeah. Did you see? I was watching. This is totally off topic, but I was watching. Of course, I was watching Chael talk about something, and apparently, it was something about Francis Ngannou. I guess Tyson Fury had called out Francis Ngannou or something like that, and Ngannou said, "Yo, after I finish fighting John, I'll fight you." How do you feel about that?
I just think that I wish MMA fighters would stop trying to go into boxing. Bring those boxers who can't fight outside of boxing into MMA. It's time to embarrass the boxers. It's time to show them the difference of skill sets. You know, boxing is a fantastic sport when we're talking about competition, right? We've seen some amazing fights. We've seen some incredible things. Unfortunately, due to the bad business and politics of boxing, it's put a nasty stain on it. But when we're talking about skill set versus skill set, 9 times out of 10, the MMA fighter is going to win in a real fight. You know what I mean? You put an MMA fighter like, hey, you can't do this, that, and the third, da, 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 da. Yeah, they're going to lose a boxing fight. They're going to lose it. You know what I mean? But if you talk about, hey, there's no rules, Queensberry rule set, I'm going to fuck you up, the boxer's going to lose. They know it. They know it. That's why none of them outside of James Toney, and mad respect to James Toney, because even though he got his ass washed, at least he stepped in there to get his ass washed. So I'll never talk shit about James Toney, but the rest of these motherfuckers call him out like that fucking what's that name?
Jay Leon.
Yeah, Herb.
You don't know nothing about these, man.
Oh my God.
You don't know nothing about these.
These guys, man, they don't, you know what I mean? I'm tired of it. Like, and Tyson Fury's not even Tyson Fury's best heavyweight in the world. Come on, man. Like,
it's a payday, man. That's the only thing they're looking for.
Yeah,
no,
but
I get that. I
hear Lau. Lau's right.
No, I totally agree with Lau. I totally agree with Lau. Even with Francis Ngannou, and Francis Ngannou is like he's one of the few fighters that is very outspoken on how he just wanted to be a boxer, and they were like, "Yo, you should actually do MMA," right? And even then, it's like if him and Tyson Fury got in a real fight, we already know it doesn't matter who hits harder. It doesn't matter if Tyson Fury hit harder than Francis. We all know when it's all said and done, if they go to the ground, it's over. It's the plain and simple, no matter who it is. If it's Floyd versus Conor, if it's Kamaru Usman versus Canelo, like anybody, like it doesn't matter who it is. It's I agree where it's a cheat code. Hey, we're going to take this one thing where we have in common, but I'm a professional at it, and you are semi-professional in comparison to me, and I'm gonna have a fight with you. Like,
yeah, it's like, hey, MMA fighter, come wrestle the best Olympic wrestler in the entire fucking world. The MMA fighter is going to get out fucking wrestled
every day.
But hey, Olympic wrestler, come fight me in the cage. He's going to get beat the fuck up because he doesn't know how to fight as well as a trained professional. And I just think that it's just, I don't know, man. I don't like the boxers keep trying to bait the MMA fighters. And like I said in the last episode, the reason being because they're not getting paid enough, and that's why they keep falling for the bait.
There's only a matter of time until like either Dana's going to be like, yo, I have to keep paying these guys, because when you have a cash cow like someone like Conor McGregor, for instance, right? He's someone that you pay these astronomical numbers, and even when he's on a 2 or 3 fight losing streak, he could still sell out a venue. And that's the reason why he's pretty much kissing the feet of Kamaru Usman at this point, trying to get a fight, because it's like, hey, I need money. And most people understand, if you can't, just to go back to that point real quick, if you can't get the money that like Conor gets, you're going to try to fight in the boxing. Right. But like back to like with Conor, like he's kissing the feet of Kamaru Usman. And at the end of the day, we all know how that ends.
The thing about like Conor and Kamaru, right? I'm siding with Usman on this one. I think what Conor is doing is kind of like, hey, look at me. Like, I just feel like that's lame, right? Because he's like, oh, well, you know, he's copying the things that I'm saying. He's even copying the 1-2 punch combination that I've do. Like, it's just like, are you like, come on, Conor? Like, you either trolling, and if you're not trolling, like, that's a little delusional. Anybody can be taught to throw a right straight, and fortunately for Kamaru, he knows how to utilize his straights and his jabs. So like, don't act like he's copying your shots, as he would say. So it's just weird. It's just Conor keeping his name in the conversation. And of course, everybody's going to go piss their pants and talk about it, just kind of like how we're talking about it now. If a fight were to ever happen between the two, Usman is going to win, man. Usman may finish this dude. He probably could finish Conor in the first round. So, like, for Conor, I know he'll probably believe he could knock out Usman. Everybody else in the world can see, like Usman will be one of the worst matchups he's ever had in his career.
Yeah, he's going to destroy him. Like, maybe even kill him in the octagon, like, literally. You know what I mean? Like, I think that fight, if it were to ever happen, would not be a good look. It'd be a good amount of money for both of them. Me and Lau were having a discussion earlier this week about, the possibility of the fight. It's just not. If you thought, him and Khabib was bad, then this is going to be that times two, at least.
If they fought each other, I think Kamaru will retire Conor. Similar to like Robbie Lawler, right? How Robbie Lawler said, like, if he had fought Conor or somebody like that, he's like, I want to break him. I don't want to beat him. I want to break him. Break his will to fight, break his will to exist, like, inside the ring. So, like, I think the same thing would happen with Kamaru versus Conor. And I mean, at the end of the day, similar to like Lau was saying, like, at this point, Conor is just trying to find a way to keep his name relevant, trying to keep himself out there despite like despite losing his last fight. If anything, he needs to focus on his last opponent. Talk to Dustin Poirier. Focus on that. Focus on June 10th. I think it's June 10th, right? Or July 10th. July 10th. Focus on July 10th. You don't need to be worrying about Kamaru Usman. You can't even beat. You're not even beating. At this point, he's not even beating champions.
I think Conor should, after this fight, I think he should move up to 170, man.
I think he should retire.
Nah. That's on him. You know what I mean? Yes, he got the money to retire without a doubt. But if he wants to keep fighting, that's cool. I just think that he should move up to 170. I think 155 is just a very bad weight class for him. He's dealing with a weight class full of grapplers. Like, there may be like one person outside of Dustin Poirier that he could beat, and I think that's like Dan Hooker. Everybody else is strong grapplers, man. So
strong enough to win at least. You know what I mean? Charles Oliveira will have his way on the ground.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Dustin Poirier, like, if he actually tried to work him on the ground, probably have a good time on the ground.
Yep.
Like, there's not going to be many easy fights. Me and Lau were having this conversation a little earlier. Like, top 5, top 10, he's going to have some tough fights at lightweight, but then he goes to welterweight. Well, it's like Jorge Masvidal. I was like, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just fought for a title.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he talked his way into it, though.
Whatever. Hey, look, he was there, regardless if he got washed or not.
Hey, man, was dry like a Sprite can, man.
Yeah. Quench your thirst.
Just his head.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. Like,
oh God.
I mean, but nonetheless, I will say this though, when it comes to Conor, shout outs to Conor for at least closing that deal. I think it might be best for him because I think it was like $300 million or some wild number.
Oh, you talk about the 600 million deal.
Whew.
Yeah, he's not worried about 170.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Trust me.
I'm talking about from like a competition standpoint.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, because like for the money, bro, he's. I'm telling you that the only person you could compare him to when it comes to combat sports is Floyd. He's the only. Yeah. That's it. Floyd and Conor are the two richest guys amongst all combat sports. The dude doesn't need to fight for money. He's obviously fighting because I feel like it's either that he wants to stay relevant or two, it's a competition thing because he's done it all already.
I think if he loses this fight in July, if he really wants to fight, he's gonna try and get like maybe one more fight in MMA for like the big money. If he loses, if he wins, I don't know. I think he'll stay in that round in MMA, but don't be surprised if we see like Conor Floyd too in the future. It's very possible. It's very possible.
That would be horrible.
Why does he really have to stick in the UFC? You know what I mean? Like it. Honestly, there's no reason for him to fight if he really wants the money. Is it competition or money? You know, that's really going to show. People are going to watch him fight Floyd again. They are. That's just it.
I think to some extent it always has, but it really will boil down to money. Because, I mean, granted, Conor he's made tons of money. He's made tons of money in the ring, outside the ring, with his liquor, without his liquor. But the thing is, every champion has always said this. Once you have the belt, every door opens for you. There's no door that closes on the champion. And if he's competing, he's competing for either he's competing to get the money or he's competing to try to get the belt so he can get the bigger bag. His window that he had when he was like the number one guy was great, and he made a ton of money. At this point, to me, I just feel as though at this point he's just fishing. He's fishing, hoping he can catch a big fish because, I mean, like we said, 55, stiff competition. He can go up to 170. There may be better competition for him at 170. But at the same time...
Think about it.
What was I saying, Nigel?
Nah, like you go through the top 10 right now. You can go through our top 10 for the Highly Advised podcast, and you can see actually everybody who's there. And look, Conor would be... Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if they want to see it, they need to go on the Highly Advised Podcast on Instagram.
There you go.
Highly Advised Podcast on Instagram.
There you go.
Highly Advised Podcast on Instagram.
Okay.
The Highly Advised Podcast on Instagram. Now, continue, my brother.
Wow, hold on. Wow, you're about to say something. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, see what I was saying, man? That's all I was saying.
If you look at our top 10, you'll see that Conor McGregor in a stand-up fight, it's debatable at the least. You know what I mean? Some of those people at 155, they're going to beat him. That's just it.
Yeah. The way I see it is this. Even when Conor got knocked out by Poirier, Conor was the more accurate puncher. Poirier chopped him down with the leg kicks, which resulted to him being able to stop his mobilization, which led up to the knockout, which, you know, good job on Poirier, because that was the right thing for him to do. Your job is to break your opponent down and finish him if you can, right? But Conor is no slouch when it comes to boxing. He is not a slouch at all. You know, everybody knows that. So him at 170, he would have a better chance when it comes to some of the opponents. He will never, you know, no chance in hell he'll have a chance against Usman. He'll, as much as I don't like Colby Covington, Colby would beat him.
Dog him.
Beat him the fuck up too.
Yes.
But if we're talking about Conor versus Masvidal, Conor, obviously Nate Diaz.
Gilbert Burns?
Conor versus Gilbert. Conor versus Leon. Now, like Nigel said, we could debate a little bit because these are going to be mainly stand-up fights. And Conor is one of the best strikers in MMA. You know what I mean? Even though the dude has lost recently, there's a reason why people train boxing when they're trying to fight him, because they don't want to look like Eddie Alvarez. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, and shouts out to Eddie Alvarez too, man. But like, that's going to be an unpopular opinion. I'm curious to hear what people have to say about it. Shouts out to our MMA followership. You know, they like us, you know, and they leave comments and whatnot, like everybody should, on the bottom of the videos right now if you're watching it.
Yeah, put a 1. Put a 1. If it, matter of fact, just put anything. Put anything. Tell me
anything.
Yeah, tell me how blue I look right now.
Yeah, you could do that. What does Spence look like when you look at him?
Yo, chill.
These are good comments.
Blue man group, you know. Proud
Blueface,
family.
Hey, man.
Yo,
maybe we could get a sponsorship for Blue Chew, Spence.
Hey, Willy Wonka.
Speaking of ads,
Order
your blue, get your Blue Chew right now. It'll have you looking like this.
Yeah.
Before we left, I just wanted to say, Yoel Romero was supposed to fight this weekend. That fight got canceled.
What?
It got canceled. But even still,
PEDs?
Bellator. I'm sorry, say it again.
PEDs?
Nah, I actually don't know. I honestly don't off the top of my head. I'm sorry, listeners. I don't have that information. But for whatever reason, they had him booked as the co-main event under Sergio Pettis against Anthony Johnson. They booked him this way. Listeners, let's think about that.
Horrible mismanagement, man.
On Showtime. That's the way their card was listed. Whatever. It is what it is.
Dana would never.
It's unfortunate. Shouts out to Yoel Romero. Definitely one of the interesting characters in MMA right now.
They got Anthony Johnson a replacement fight. So
who?
They picked some guy from the stands. So tune
What's
in.
His name?
I don't know the dude's name.
Hold on, I gotta look this up.
It's going to be a showcase fight for Anthony Johnson. You know, let's see how fast he can knock the guy out, and maybe we could hype up the next fight for him. But it's not anybody that's notable or recognizable. Kudos to the guy, man, because he's coming in. You know, he's coming in to possibly do the job. So, and that's a guy. You know, fighting Anthony Johnson. I don't know if that's a guy you necessarily want to do a job too. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Yoel might want to. So I'm sorry cutting you off. My bad. So I looked it up. So apparently he canceled the fight because he has a wandering eye.
Ooh.
Yeah, he has an eye injury, and there's some name for it, but it's AKA called the wandering eye. So, yeah.
Yeah, now that you said it, I'm glad you said it. That's kind of dangerous, right? When you go in a fight, because fighting a guy, especially a guy against like Anthony Johnson, you want to be dialed in. Yeah. You don't want to be distracted at all, because if he hits you right,
that thing might fly out,
man.
Yeah.
Plenty of people could tell you how they had a good night's rest.
I don't know who this dude is, but it looks like he's not trying to be in there all night. He's trying to like win or lose. Win or lose, he's trying to get out of there. You know what I mean? That's what it looks like. So I expect to finish in some way, shape, or form. But he's not trying to do all that. He's trying to fight for real.
Hey man, he's brought in to do the job. So.
Do we have anything else for the listeners?
I seen some breaking news shit. You know, Bill Gates and his wife, after 27 years of marriage, getting a divorce. The reason being, I'm pretty sure people will have multiple speculations, but we should know as common sense, hey, this is going to be an expensive divorce. So Bill Gates is going to be feeling the same pain Jeff Bezos was kind of feeling. But he's gonna be all right, man.
No, he's gonna be all right. I mean, he's a billionaire.
Yeah, one of the world's richest man. He's gonna be good.
But I mean, I'll put it like this:
half of $100 billion.
There you go.
I
a third. Imagine if you went down to 1/3 of $1 billion. That's
that a flop? Not a lot. No, of course not. That's not even a bad hit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wow, I'm gonna take 2/3 of your money that you got right now.
Hey man, I got a ski mask, man. I got a mask. Yeah.
Next thing you know, you would see Lau up in there talking about, yo, I'll fight Anthony Johnson, man.
Yeah, I'll do the job. I'll look at the lights for sure.
Tell you, listen, man. I'll tell you all the lights that need fixing in here after this fight, man.
Yeah, I don't mind being in a hospital bed that night. Shit.
Where can listeners follow us at?
I don't know. Tell them, bro.
Well, listeners, you can follow us at Highly Advised Podcast on Instagram. You can follow us at Advise Highly on Twitter. Make sure you follow the YouTube, subscribe to us, leave a like, leave a comment. Tell us what you like about us. You like our music shit, our MMA fans. We already know that you're here until the end for this. You know what I mean? So shout out to y'all. Always loyal. We respect it. Do y'all have anything else to say before we end this episode?
I would say this. And when you're talking about the comments, leave comments of hate also. 50 Cent once said, I need you to hate me. I need the hate. I embrace the hate. I love the hate. So if you have a bad thing, a good thing, whatever, say it.
Somebody said I wasn't smart. They said that. Shouts out to that dude.
I was just gonna say, shouts out to the one guy commenting saying the Steeler.
Not the first one.
The guy in the Steeler poster in the background. He's not a smart guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
RVD, man.
I'm about to start embracing it. Just like, like send me that hate. I'm ready for that.
Listen, man, I feel like we're watching the development of a heel, man.
Hey, I'm perfect. Like, you talk about the guy who's been waiting.
Welcome to the dark side if you do join. But I
Dark
do want
side of the pod, man.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you guys really care, but new season of Dark Side of the Ring is out. So a lot of more.
Word.
Yeah. I don't know who's all going to be in it, but I've seen that there's going to be some pretty interesting stories. But what I do want to say before I, call it a night is I want to say shouts out to one of our dedicated listeners. His name is David. He has his own company that he's about to start, so here we go, little plug in for him. So he's starting a little company. Well, I don't want to say little, so forgive me, David, but he's starting his company, his own business for pest controls called Ocean Blue Pest. He got a website up, so definitely Google it. Once again, Ocean Blue Pest Solutions. Check him out on there. Even if you don't book appointment, leave a 5-star review and all that. He's going to do your home solid. So you got them nagging ass gnat coming to your door. He'll wipe them out. He'll wipe them out.
I saw a millipede crawling around like when I was trying to wash the dishes earlier. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he'll take care of that. No more millipedes. You know what I'm saying? So shouts out to him. Just wanted to shout his business out there to the listeners. So if he got pest controls, he's your guy. If you go to Terminex, we're breaking your neck. So go to Ocean Blue Pest Solutions.
So aggressive, man. Speaking of shout outs, I do want to shout out my mans. You can look them up on
listeners. I'm fucking with you, bro.
It's like you've been highly advised. But yeah, if you guys get a chance, you should check out the song called Element. It's by one of my friends named James Major. A couple features off that album. Off that song is Shea Noir, Sir Michael Rocks, Relay, and Juan Giovanni. So if you get a chance, make sure you check it out. It's on Apple. It's on every streaming network, on every streaming platform, YouTube, Instagram.
Listen to that shit everywhere.
Everywhere. Listen, it's a tough joint. Definitely anybody that's a West Side. Yeah, it's anybody that's a West Side fan, anything like that, even a Mikey Rocks fan, like check it out. It's a really dope song. That's all I got to say. So, and drink your water, wear your mask, stay sanitized, and prayers to India. So
that song is hard. Prayers to everybody in Indianapolis. Unfortunately, with the FedEx victims and shit, they're still dealing with that. So prayers to them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I was talking about India.
Yeah, no, there's two different things. I was kind of confused. No, they're two separate situations.
But prayers to all of them, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listeners, I'm going to give a shout out real quick, like my other friends did, to my friend to my left. He put out a song with another friend of ours. He put out a song with another friend of ours. It is up right now. It is called The Heist. Listen to it. That is also everywhere. And leave comments and tell us what you think. You know what I mean? Like, we are here for the public. We respect y'all. We appreciate y'all. You have been highly advised. We will see you guys next time.
You are highly advised.